designed and built with other riders, most of the dirt jump course behind the Baute Arena. Same for the dirt jump course at Wallace Emerson. For the past 3 years, I've also looked after the TorontoBMX Jam, an event which is part of the annual March Toronto International Bike Show, and thus I'm responsible for the freestyle course at Wallace Emerson. When I took over the TorontoBMX Jam in 2007, it's with the plan that the course built for the event would be available for local riders. I'm very grateful to Toronto Parks and Recreation for allowing this course to be set up on the cement pad at Wallace Emerson Community Centre. I wanted to do it for a number of reasons: to improve visibility to sport BMX, increase participation, provide training facilities, demonstrate the need for a permanent BMX facility, analyze the cost-benefit relationship, offer employment opportunities, and attract other agencies to the concept and involve them in the sport and the facility. In any discussion of BMX, comparisons to skateboarders and skateboarding are always made. Not a problem, really. Skateboarding and BMX are like skiing and snowboarding, quite different sports, but sports that can share similar facilities, brothers and sisters. Yet in terms of city planning and the provision of venues, it has always been the skateboarders who got the parks. Partly it's a question of numbers. According to statistics from 2004, it's estimated that there were approximately 113,000 skateboarders and 35,000 BMX riders in Toronto. So for every BMX rider, there are 3.3 skateboarders. Yet BMX is now recognized as the official Olympic sport of dirt racing, expanding to include freestyle in 2012. In the United States, through the work of Alley Sports that operates Dew Tour events, many large U.S. companies have found the sport not only the correct platform through which to advertise their product, but also the sport worthy of their attention and investment. Working at the grassroots level last year, U.S. Nike constructed several local skate parks, BMX parks for the BMX riding community, then assisted the local communities with events at these parks. Canadian companies are now beginning to express interest in our community BMX venues. So far, Toronto has built 6 skate parks with a construction cost totaling $3.5 million. This would be good news for all young athletes if the parks were multi-use facilities. However, they were built as skate parks only, with 2 parks signposted as BMX riders not welcome. If the goal was equitable resources, then at some point about $1 million should have been available for BMX permanent venues. As year 3 of the BMX project in Toronto draws to an end, it's worth noting that the sport has been highlighted in several media, including the Toronto Star. Here's me on the front page about a month ago. In terms of participation, close to 2,000 children have received classes in riding and safety through programs offered by Parks and Rec. For the TorontoBMX Jam, registrations from Toronto riders has risen from 3% to 15%, many of whom have discovered the sport or trained at Wallace. Riders using the Wallace Park indicate that it exceeds expectations for training. In view of 2 of the BMX sports becoming Olympic events, the need for a year-round, all-weather facility is being highlighted by all. All aspects of the freestyle park, including maintenance and repairs, have been provided by TorontoBMX at no cost to the city, a situation that cannot be sustained indefinitely. Monitoring expenses, it will cost about $5,000 per year for maintenance of this freestyle park, compared to $8,000 for the average cement park. In terms of employment, 4 very talented young youth were hired by Toronto Parks to deliver the programs at Wallace. Toronto Crime Stoppers has been actively involved with the park and the riders for 3 years, as well the Toronto Argonauts Foundation, Oakville Hospital's Fight for Betty charity, and the Young Presidents Organization have all helped to move their event forward by involving TorontoBMX. In addition, there have been many tales of assisting otherwise problem youth, mentoring, teamwork development, education on many levels of the park. The trial period of a BMX freestyle park in Toronto has allowed all stakeholders to have a long look at the recreational venues and be satisfied that they are indeed viable and important community recreation facilities. As this is the point where the City of Toronto is reviewing what has taken place and what should be done in the future, I would urge you to orchestrate the following. 1, adopt the report and maintain the current facilities to expand other areas of the city. 2, establish a storage location for freestyle ramps for the off-season, either donated or the city purchased. And number 3, actively pursue the location of an indoor facility for a youth action, sports, and leadership center that include freestyle BMX training areas. As the guy constantly dealing with weather and water problems at Wallace Freestyle BMX course, I can't emphasize covered and indoor enough. Be happy to answer any questions or provide information you might require.
Got a question from Councillor Ainsley and a question from Councillor Head.
Yes, sir. I'm over this side. Sorry. Thanks, Michael. I appreciate the presentation and all the work that you've done for dirt biking. I guess I'm just trying to understand, when I was a kid, which seems longer every time I look in the mirror, farther away. When I was a kid, BMXing that's what was dirt biking. You got on your BMX bike and this talks about BMX Toronto and MTB, which I understand is off-trail riding.
Okay, there's actually 6 sports in BMX, and I think it's outlined in the report. So I'm looking after 2 at the moment, primarily. The dirt racing and dirt jumping basically use the same facility. There are 2 facilities with dirt jumps, the one at Davie Arena, which is Davie and Finch, and the one at Wallace Emerson, Dufferin and DuPont. The second aspect is freestyle, which the park looks very much like a skate park, except everything's bigger. And so those are the 2. There's also Flatland, Dirt Racing Street, and one other, Vert.
Okay.
So we're not looking at those other 4, just concentrating on those 2 because that's what we currently have in the city.
Okay. So Toronto BMX has nothing to do with the bike company.
It's an organization of people.
Parks.
Yeah, Toronto BMX is an organization of people who are interested in promoting the sport, and that group also looks after running the BMX Jam, which is like an X Game event that's held every March.
Okay, and you would support bike facilities right across the city. I was looking at your group's website, and it says our projects include spearheading the creation of new parks in the downtown Toronto area.
Yes, that's where the primary absence of it is. Now there are a number of private organizations and other facilities that are available in the suburbs, but downtown Toronto, and that's the number of 35,000 that I spoke of, doesn't have anything that's permanent or operated by the city.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
My question is actually similar. So what does actually BMX stand for?
Bicycle motocross. It was invented in 1976 by Harold, the guy that owned Harold, I'm not sure his first name, Mr. Harold. He invented that by modifying a mountain bike and making it more like a motocross bike with an engine, except no engine on it. And so the whole idea is that you're able to do on these bikes what you could do on a small motorbike using any power.
The 6 sports, the concern for this report is only 2 of the 6.
Yes.
So skateboarding is one of the other 4, right?
No, skateboarding is a whole other sport all by itself. So we got the whole.
They use the concrete.
Correct.
Things as well.
Yes.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. I'm just trying to get my head around definitions. Like you see these things, I'm not sure what words apply to what activities.
Yes, sir.
I just have one question. You had 3 recommendations to adopt a report, establish storage for ramps and pursue indoor facilities. My reading of our go-forward strategy is that it does include all of those things.
Correct.
Isn't that correct?
I'm just urging you to push that report forward.
Okay.
It's my understanding that this is the point which is decided whether or not the report does in fact move forward. So I'm here to support it 100%.